So what is up, guys? From today, I am thinking of starting to do daily market recaps. After this session, I'm going to go over my what was my daily bias for the day was, and what was my pre-market scenarios for the day was, and what was the outcome from the day. So I've been journaling everything in my Discord, where I have like a private journal kind of Discord, and I've been doing this for past 2 months for both ES and NQ, where I'm just going on and doing the pre-market scenarios and the post-market and the trade setups and everything. So this is something that I've been following. Even though the results weren't pretty nice, break evens, I'm about to blow a evil right now. But I've been like sticking onto the process, focusing on the process. I have not been over trading or revenge trading or not following rules. Maybe I made some mistakes here and there, but I've been doing that for the past few weeks, and I've been back testing are really good as well. First 4 months really had a very nice outcome, but the payment wasn't that nice while back testing. So I just want to do the back test again for that month, and I made to gather data on Geo. So this is my weekly journals that I've been doing for the past few days, and my these are the mistakes that I made during my back testing sessions that I also rectified. So if you're someone who is watching this and you don't know how to journal, you could take a use of this. You could come and DM me right now. I could help you out. But this is basically you just create a channel kind of thing where you just keep posting your daily journals, and you have some channels like this where you do your mistakes and the important takeaways. Sometimes automatically new things come to my mind when I'm thinking about trading, so I note them here every time. So this is pretty much it. So let's get straight into today's journal. So today, Monday, we had a FOMC last week was pretty bad, to be honest. Not the best. But this week, this is a new news Monday. Here we have only news on Wednesday, but that news is not something very big like CPA or FOMC. So this week could be a good week starting off. This was how the start of the day was. We had a nice daily fair value gap rejection level. Let me pull it up on this side. Um, so basically, what we had in the pre-New York session, I didn't mark this channel. I've I figured this channel out later, and this could have been a really good help for my early buyers probably, but this worked pretty well. This one my trading partner suggested me. So basically, what we had was we had a daily fair value gap here, and price came and rejected off it. So I removed the fair value gap and marked the rejection low, like here. I think we have the daily fair value gap rejection low here, which made a pretty big move. So coming into today, we are not going to worry about that mainly. What we had was we had price ranging near this London highs. We had this New York PM highs, and let me just duplicate this and open the NAS 100 in this. So basically, what we have right here is we have the similar thing where, but we here took the London, I mean the New York PM highs before the New York Open, but in this we were yet to take. So we are having kind of like an SMT, and also a bigger SMT when you compare it here, because the we were close to the daily context, but we were very below that here. So basically, what my idea for the pre-market scenarios were, first I marked out this New York PMI, which was obviously one of the important PDRAs. Then the daily fair value gap context, which we had lying right here, which is like, which definitely shows us at this point New York is more strongly bullish and ES is more strongly bearish, and the similar thing here. So basically, I just want to see what are the scenarios for long. My most probable pair of entry would definitely be US Nasdaq, and for short, it definitely would be ES. So starting on, okay, this was my pre-market charting. So this is the periods I was focusing on the most, and I forgot to mark, but there was this 1 hour fair value gap right here in ES, which was a pretty important fair value gap plus because this is where price actually moved lower from. So, no news Monday. We had S&P on both side price rejecting of a daily fair value gap almost higher. Doesn't look that strong. So, uh, then all time I saw our bullish drawn liquidity and the 1 hour fair value gap was my bearish drawn liquidity. So, what I wanted to see at the New York Open is a manipulation move higher, which takes out the New York PM in ES. And in NQ, probably price want to respect this 1 hour fair value gap while holding on to this rejection high. And then I would like to see a 5 minute close below this to short to short what this ES towards this rejection lows, which would have been a really nice high probability trade because we had some liquidity here, and when we run this there is more probability we actually reach the 1 hour fair value gap as well. So that was my bias on. This was my first scenario. For this, I need to see a sweep and a reversal for me to take a shot. This is my first scenario. So coming on to the second scenario is just all time highs. I just wanna see a good candle breaking above this New York PMIs in both ES as well as US 100. I need that in both of them, not in any one of them, because when we could see a candle close on ES, but the US 100 could be just respecting that high, and then we could have an sudden move down, which is like more likely because we had all this listing liquidity that I wanted to see price take. So the third probability was we come back, we sweep after we do the first scenario, we could come to this 1 hour five value gap to just keep moving higher from here. This was my other scenario. So then what happened was my New York PM, we first had this big move higher in both the ES as well as NQ. So let me show you that move. This was that move. Okay, we had this big move right there. Right, this itself would have confirmed breakout for some many of them, and people would have started buying here. This was the classic NOE manipulation, New York Open manipulation. We had the similar thing in this, but we see this. Yeah, we keep rejecting of this VIX, and we keep respecting everything. We had a close about this, but this 1 hour candle could still do 2 CR. So this 1 hour fair gap is still in work. So I don't want to look for long at this point of time, as well as this daily fair value gap context is very closer. So price could sweep it as move down, which would in turn create a daily fair value gap context SMT. So in any case, I didn't want to long at this point because we were still respecting this. Okay, when we probably disrespected this, I could have looked for an entry. So what we had, I didn't mark this channel out, which I probably should have because this shows like a clear point at where we could see this reversal. We had a move up, manipulation move up, down, and we basically did nothing in this, just manipulating and sweeping. Then we had these clean moves. Probably uh, this move on itself would have been a nice confirmation. After this farewell gap from here would have also been a really nice confirmation to take this shot. But as I already had it planned, I wanted to see this get taken. So I kept on waiting for that. But when we took that low, and I probably wanted to see some small retracement so that I could get some RR out of this trade, something like this. 1 is to 1.2 RR kind of thing. But what happened was we just ran it towards the 1 hour parallel gap. We didn't basically have any room to enter or any way to enter. The same thing happened here as well. We closed about this 1025, 1025, the same candle, and also this also took, we didn't have any retracement. So what my next idea was to see a 1 hour. Okay, this idea got completely obliterated as we thought. So I wanted to, this was 50-50 price action that I told you. I I journaled every move that price did. Then scenario 2 played out. Then channel, I added the channels which had a nice narrative. CV rejected off the top of the channel. So then I waited for the 15-minute fair value gaps. We had two 15-minute fair value gap. What I wanted to see was the first 15-minute gap fair value gap get tapped into, then price should invalidate that fair value gap to give us an ID to trade towards the next fair value gap or the next long with that fair value gap break even. That was my long idea. I think I messed up because I did the last part of the journal. Okay, fine, nothing. No. So this is what my idea was. So then what happened was we had an SMT. Price created this 1 hour fair value gap. After creating that 1 hour fair value gap, I wanted to see this 5 minute fair value gap has been getting rejected many times. So I wanted to see a close above this rejection eye to take a trade. This is actually a really valid opportunity, but I didn't take this Nasdaq trade because the time was obviously 2 o'clock. Okay, it's almost long past it. I don't want to take it anymore. And we didn't get a confirmation in this. I wanted to see a run of this, but we are sweeping this. So still there could be an SMT or whatever. Couldn't be a SMT, but I generally didn't want to take this because the time as well as the place that price is. We could just keep doing this forever and get taking our results. So I don't want to do that. So that's it for the Nasdaq. But here we didn't take anything. But in EU we actually took a trade. So let's see what you had today. So Monday, no news on GU as well as US dollar. So this was the Great British Pound. The it was very ambiguous at the start of the New York Open because we had this low resistance liquidity run get taken by Great GBP USD. But in EUR USD, we didn't take the low resistance liquidity or this listing liquidity, but we were moving down. So it was a big divergence, which I actually didn't want to see because I wanted both of them to like work together, but they were working in opposite directions. So I was really unclear of this, but I still made up the pre-market scenarios. The scenario one would be we actually had a daily fair value gap in this. We were inside a daily fair value gap. I didn't box it out because price already reached it, so I just label the top of that week as the daily fair value gap rejection high. We are working off a daily fair value gap here, so that's actually a good point to be bearish at the point because even though the price is moving higher in GBP, this was a sweep into a daily fair value gap could mean lower prices, and I expected okay maybe we could see a sweep in this as well, but it's not like compulsory. Okay, so what my first thing was like we are going to run this daily fair value gap towards the next fair value gap, which was my first scenario. In that case, US also you are used is also going to be bullish, but probably in this case it's very low probability because we are fighting against the daily fair value gap, which I don't really want to see. And in my second scenario, which was the better scenario, was we see EU or USD just disrespect this rejection low. When this low gets disrespected or closed down, we have nothing, no resistance, okay, to run the lows. But what mistake I did was we had one minor low here. I didn't mark this out, and this had costed me a loss today, which I'll explain later. Okay, so the similar thing. When we had this 15-minute fair value gaps, if this get disrespected, we can come lower to this 1 hour fair value gap in GBP because you're already in this daily fair value gap. So for shorts, I want to see these gaps getting disrespected in GU and this rejection low getting closed in EU, and I will enter on EU basically. Okay, simple. So what we had at the start of the day. So let me open EU, and here let me open GU. So basically what we had was in okay we are going to be we are in this daily fair value gap, and we had this 15-minute fair value gap which okay, this is irrelevant right now. We had this 15-minute fair value gap which get rejected then close below. Then we had this 15-minute fair value gap that get closed below in 9:45. So basically, GU gave us the signal. Okay, you could buy at this point of, could sell at this point of time, but we are never going to sell GU because EU is even weaker. So what we had at EU at that 9:45 candle was we were running this 1 hour rejection low. Okay, so that was a nice idea. Okay, we were running like this. Okay, we had this candle, but what I forgot to see was in 15 minutes you could see we have a minor swing low here. I know this is not going to do much, but I didn't check this. I didn't mark this out. Okay, that was a mistake. But I didn't uh, do anything like not follow my rules. Here I made a silly mistake where I forgot to mark this low. So when I had this candle, all that meant to me was a breakout. Okay, so breakout on GU had the signal, and the same 9 for 55 candle had another signal in EU, and EU is weaker, and we have the weekly lows very closer to our drawn liquidity. So my idea was a 1.3 hour trade like this, and I took it. But what happened was after then I noticed that we had this minor low that price respected, and we took the sell, which is fine. It was a bad idea, bad trade because we had this and I didn't account to this. But that's fine. Then we had this. What that we had at the point of time was this 15-minute fair value gap that we can move lower from. Price came into that fair value gap. Price gave a nice top wick, nice rejection wick, and we respected the rejection high throughout the idea. We had this 15-minute fair value gap form against us. When we disrespect this 15-minute fair value gap, that means a close below this and the close below the rejection low, which we had at this point of time. This is 11:30. This is my entry. This 11:30 closure will be my entry, and I'll go to 5 minute. I will keep my SL here. I'll keep my TP here around 1.4 hour trade. Okay, this is a beautiful, simple, easy, lovely trade which I could take any point of the day. But I didn't take it today because I went to have dinner. So basically, my parents ordered dinner, so they kept calling me for dinner. So okay, fine. I don't regret missing this because I was not on the chart and I was not hesitating to trade this trade. I genuinely was not able to take the trade because I was having a dinner. So I don't regret not taking this trade, but this is actually really an A plus setup, which I honestly after that I journaled. So this was the losing trade. See the entry confirmation. We had this close and we had a nice close here. We had my SL here, we had my TP here, and we had this 1 hour for 15 minutes fair value gaps disrespected in GU. So weekly lows are the bias, and the every bullish PDRI is invalidated. Weekly and hourly fair value gaps down. The higher time frame was towards us, I mean along us, and we had a nice lower time frame confirmation as well. So which was pretty well. Okay, I really like this idea. And what happened was. Took the L, which was a strong move. When I saw this strong move, that's when I realized what is price rejecting off of. Then I saw that low. So this was honestly a error by me. This time I don't care about that loss problem. Honestly, at this point I'm about to blow the eval, but that's fine. I'll just buy another one and stick to the process. Process is what I'm focusing on right now. So even though how many losses that I took, I am not changing the strategy. I'm just trying to better the strategy and fix the problems in the strategy, but not change the strategy altogether because I don't want to do that because the data says I already have around a nice 70% win rate, so which is nice. So what then was okay when this trade got invalidated and this was the time when price was in this 15 minute. I wanted to, if you want to keep trading higher, I want to see this 15-minute rejection high get closed above. If you want to keep trading lower, I want to see this 15-minute fair value gap get invalidated. So basically we had that. The time when I came to the charts, price was already at this point. I couldn't rush a trade. So that was the day today. So basically, I took our loss, which is 0.5%. I am about like um I'm about like 5.5% drawdown. I have like 0.56% only drawdown left to trade, buffer left to trade before breaching this prop firm. I think this is the fifth prop firm I'd be breaching if that happens. But I don't care. I just honestly I want to keep risking that 0.5% and see where it takes us. So that was the trade for the day, and that was this day. Honestly, not a bad day. Followed the rules, took one well. I, I could not say it's a statistical loss because, according to statistics, I didn't want to take this trade, but I made a silly mistake. In years, we could do nothing about the trade that I missed, but the other things kind of looked fine. So, okay, I'm happy. So, alright, I'll see you tomorrow, guys. Thank you.